How can such cruel and heartless people exist in this world? This poor dog was wrapped head to toe in duct tape by a sadistic abuser, left to suffer with only faint cries for help. After receiving a report from concerned citizens, a rescuer immediately jumped on his motorcycle and rushed to the scene. The dog had already been tied up for 2 hours, making the situation critical. Since the rescuer was unfamiliar with the area, he asked locals for directions through the rural roads and then sped off again. 20 minutes later, he finally arrived. Upon arrival, he searched frantically for the dog, but with the vast open terrain and the dog being immobilized, spotting it wasn't easy. After 10 minutes of searching, he finally found a bundle of tape in a mud pit. Shockingly, that bundle was the dog. It was barely breathing. The rescuer rushed to its side and gently lifted it out of the mud. He quickly began cutting away the tape while the dog whimpered in agony. How could someone be so depraved as to take pleasure in another being's suffering? The rescuer worked swiftly, peeling off the tape from the dog's head within a minute, then moved to its body. But the layers were tightly wound and the tape had no single continuous seam, forcing him to search for multiple access points. The dog, terrified of humans, struggled to break free. After 3 more minutes, the rescuer finally removed all the tape, freeing the dog at last. But instead of relief, the dog instinctively backed away in fear. The rescuer checked for injuries and wiped off the dirt with a towel, then poured some water for the dog. As it drank, its entire body trembled, showing just how deeply traumatized it was. To ensure its well-being, the rescuer decided to take it to a vet. Wrapping the dog in a blanket, he gently placed it in a cage. But the dog, fearing it was about to be abandoned or harmed again, let out heartbreaking whimpers, a sign of the deep psychological scars left by its abuser. After another 20-minute ride, they reached the veterinary clinic. The vet performed a thorough examination and found that while the dog was slightly malnourished, its body temperature and overall condition were stable, a small relief in an otherwise tragic story. Once home, the rescuer gave the dog a warm bath, washing away not just the dirt but also the suffering it had endured. After drying its fur, the dog finally seemed to relax, knowing it was safe at last. Had this rescue not happened, the dog might not have survived. Let's show appreciation for this kind-hearted rescuer, and may this poor soul finally live a life full of love and warmth.